Before Keanu Reeves was John Wick, he was John Constantine, a professional exorcist, demon slayer, and a pretty cool dude. Back then, comic book movies were not that popular, nor were they so oversaturated like today. Nowadays, every superhero movie is almost the same. Same jokes, same plot, same characters. They have a blueprint and they follow it to a T. But back then, when a new comic book movie came out, you didn't even know it was a comic book movie. Every one of them was so different in their way, had its own style, own twist on the characters, and generally just explored different styles. Sure, a lot of them were really bad, but at least you always got something different. Constantine was like that. It's one of those movies you can't even tell it's a comic book movie. You just like it because it's cool and interesting. And with its popularity, of course, it got its own game, like most of popular movies. Most of movie-based games were garbage, and still are today, but let's take a quick look into this one to see, does it differ from others, or is it same trash as most? First thing you notice in this game is that the character of Constantine is not played by Keanu Reeves. While this is a bummer, we do get an impersonator who does a decent enough job.
Yeah, I was hoping for a quiet night. Hey! But it wasn't in the cards.
Damn you, Constantine.
I've been damned by worse. Much worse.
Even though Keanu didn't reprise his role, we do get Tilda Swinton.
Thanks.
In-game model of Constantine is very obviously Keanu, but in the cutscenes he looks weird, deformed. With that being said, the cutscenes are really well made. The game is a third-person shooter. The tone of the game reminds me a lot of two first Max Payne games. It even has a slow-motion action move. The indifference of Constantine really reminds me of Max sometimes, especially when he drops one-liners.
Tonight, smoking's got competition.
The game begins in hell, which is a great first impression. You get accustomed to shooting and punching demons. Your first weapon is a simple gun that shoots holy pebbles. The shooting feels decent, movement and action is fairly smooth, but nothing spectacular. It is serviceable, nothing to wow you. Later on in the game you will find other weapons like a flamethrower, crossbow, shotgun, and something of a machine gun. All of them have their own strength and weaknesses, but the crossbow generally is very weak. It does decent damage, but aiming with it is weird and a nuisance. It is very easy to miss an enemy. On the other hand, my favorite weapon, the crucifier, is awesome. It shoots nails that were in victims of crucifixion. You can pick them up after being shot out, which basically means you will never run out of ammo for it. It's not particularly strong, but it shoots those nails out so fast it makes up for the damage. The story follows pretty much the movie with some differences. Demons start entering the Earth realm. You are set out to find out why. Long story short, Lucifer's son Mammon is trying to enter the Earth realm through the body of a police officer named Angela. Your mission is to stop him and save Angela.
Know that Mammon will rip Angela apart, crossing over.
You will be moving a lot from Earth realm to Hell. Hell is amazing. The atmosphere and the color scheme is so well done. It's not a creepy hell, but more of an aggressive hell. You feel unsafe and attacked by the color palette and the fallen buildings. Of course, demons help too. Earth atmosphere is more of a creepy one. You move through the generic locations like the hospital, police station, sewers. Nothing very memorable, but location do their jobs well enough, and do match with the feel of the game. There are also secondary weapons like the Holy Bomb, Moses' Shroud, Screeching Beetle, and so on. Every one of the secondary weapons does its job really well. You will have to use them all, no exceptions. They work well with different type of enemies, so don't waste them immediately. With secondary weapons and primary weapons you also get spells. They are very disappointing. Most of them are either useless, or have a very specific function. A few are good for certain type of enemies, but most of the game you will use one spell, occasionally using a different spell just because the game calls for it. Enemies you encounter the most are the regular generic enemies you already saw in a bunch of games. They follow the stereotype of typical enemies. You get the basic weak one, the strong bulky tank that charges at you, the fast little one, and annoying flying enemies. This blueprint for enemies is the trademark of mediocre games. There are a few different ones like half-demons that you must bomb with holy water to kill easier, but most of the time you get used to these 4 types. While enemies are mediocre, the boss fights are really bad. Firstly, they are very easy, non-interesting fights. Secondly, some of them repeat multiple times. The most annoying one repeats the most times. I still don't understand why developers do that. Why make someone fight the same dude 4 times through the game? It is very evidently not a good idea. Most of the people would prefer if he wasn't even there, so why waste your resources and memory just to annoy people? While the game is nothing spectacular, I do think it's worth playing through, or at least trying it out. Bonus is its abandonware, so you can download it for free.